Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, I want to talk to you about something that a lot of you guys are just you're struggling with, and I appreciate the way you guys are. You guys are so gentle. I've had a lot of calls with you guys, and you guys are just really caring. You're very sweet. You really want what's best for your partner. But what you guys do is you overthink when an avoidant tells you something. You second guess and doubt it. And I do want to clarify, I know that it's because of the way avoidants behave. You're really scared to be rejected because they can be like very harsh people. And so I want to talk about when an avoidant tells you this, I want you to believe them. It's going to be hard, but I think it's really important. The first one is something that pretty much almost all of you guys have touched on at one point in our calls. And if you have, I would have pointed it out. They mention the something along the lines of I do care. I do care. I care about you. Basically, I do care is one of the more common ones. And often it's after you might say, you don't care about me. And they say, I do care. And the reason why it's difficult is because your version of care and their version of care is different. But one is not better than the other. You guys think that, oh, I care more. But you're measuring it based on your perspective. And while that is possibly and potentially one measurement system, I don't know if it's accurate, because the reality is they care about you. It's not that they have a lower threshold or potential. That's not really the issue. People just communicate and show things differently. Their thought process of care, which a lot of times it is not just in physical gestures or acts of service, some people might call it. To some extent, yes, but it's also the amount of I'm trying to word it, the amount of effort they put into the relationship. And I know people get offended by that, but I'm not saying it in a way where you're too difficult or you're too much. The amount of effort means in their mind it's valuable. They learned this from an early age. When they were younger and their parents said, maybe you have to run a mile in 7 minutes or 6 minutes, okay? And that's what they've been building on their whole childhood. Their dad would stand out, or their mom, whoever it may be, will stand out the track and time them to make sure they get that. To them, how they earn their love or the love of their parent is to earn it by changing their original stance of who they are and modifying it. But it's triggering because they also have this hatred to some extent, or disdain or detachment towards they have to change to earn love, which is why they really don't like when people tell them to change. But the interesting part is, which is why I've always told you this, you still have to push that a little bit, because it's actually the most strongest way that they know how to love. And so when they say I do care, you might think, okay, you don't care, you don't give me attention, you don't really talk to me much. But in the same time, are they doing a little bit more than when they met you? Probably. And that small amount, I know it's so small, is actually their proof and showing of care. Because there's two things that happen. Their discomfort towards, why do I have to prove myself to love you? You're not asking for that, but that's their uncomfort, their discomfort with compromise, and then their deep continuous attachment towards the fact that as they continue to invest, they care about you more. That's what they've learned. And so I do care typically comes from this, and the conflict typically comes from you not understanding that and them not portraying it properly, okay? The next one is, I feel like you're so tense and I wish that you would relax more. This is inspired by some of the things that you guys have shared with me, and it's inspired by some of my sessions. A lot of avoidants will say this to their husband or their wife or whoever you may be to them. And you guys are thinking, oh, they're just nitpicking me. Possibly, but there is truth to it, right? This is not just a video about me just giving you all the romantic stuff. This one is just, it's not romantic, even though it is a connection. They're trying to tell you that they feel like you're too anxious. And they're not even talking about the relationship. They're just saying in general, they wish you were a little bit more relaxed. Maybe you guys had a baby and you've been really tense and you're taking care of the kids. This is obvious, right? That's fine. That's beautiful. Let's say you're a mother, you gave birth, your hormones might be a little bit needing some calibration. It takes time, right? Maybe you just had a baby, but you've turned into such a tense person. You're so worried about what's going in the dishwasher. You're so worried about the baby. You're so worried if maybe your husband is not carrying the child correctly. And yes, you're overprotective. Absolutely. I can respect that. But sometimes it's coming to the point where it's affecting your marriage or your relationship. That example might not fit pretty much any of you guys. I don't think I've had a consultation call where you guys have a child together. Maybe a little bit. maybe some of them, but it's less common. However, a lot of my couples calls, that is the case. So that's why I wanted to bring that up. But it can be anything. You're just tense about certain things and they're telling you to relax. And part of that is because they actually care about you and they want you to slow down. You think it means that they don't like you because you're too anxious. It's really not that. They want what's best for you, and it's harder for them to feel comfortable and safe around you when you're a little bit anxious or tense, okay? The next one is, oh, I probably should have put this first. It's fine. We'll try and make sure that you guys can get this one. They say, I need some time for myself sometimes, and it has nothing to do with you. You guys think it has to do with you. It doesn't. It doesn't. People who are avoidant, you guys know, you just need sometimes time to yourself. Sometimes you have those moments. I have those moments sometimes, and I've been healed for a long time. I still have moments where just something happened. I'm really stressed at work. It's been an overwhelming, maybe it's like some of my sessions, all my sessions are back to back. And sometimes it's like back to back, I'm having really, intense sessions. And after that day, I need time to myself. It has nothing to do with my significant other. He has times like that too. He just has those moments. He needs time for himself, nothing to do with me. But a lot of you guys might take that seriously or take it more personal, because avoidants who are not healed, obviously me and my significant other are pretty much healed. And so it's just going to be like a couple hours. And it's not like we're avoiding each other. We're just like in our own bubble. But some avoidants, they're like stuck in this for like a week or two. But it's not you. It's their regulation skills. They need to heal that. But it is the fact that they're feeling really dysregulated. They need a lot of space. I've had some calls where you guys are like, yeah, I know that, like, he will disappear for like 3 weeks and then he'll come back and everything's fine. And he tells me the reason why is because something happened with his mom or something happened with work and it had nothing to do with me. And every time it's always the same thing. And you keep thinking, you're telling me, well, I think it's me because why does it keep happening? And I'm saying, well, no, he's probably doing this with everything that stresses him out. It's not healthy, but it's not you. He needs to work on his stress skills, and maybe you guys can touch on that, but it's not you. The next one is, you're the only person I truly care about. This is true. When an avoidant says this, avoidants don't like to feed you something that they can't commit to. Like, they don't want to tell you something that's not true because then you'll hold it against them. And so very often, most of them will say this and they mean it. The next one is, if I didn't care, I wouldn't be here. So a lot of you guys take this one offensively because it's almost like, oh, that's a bare minimum, you just being here. And you're right. I agree with you. I do agree with you. But it's also the reality that the truth is, if they didn't care, they wouldn't be here. That's true. They might even say something like, you guys are like, I've had calls like this where it's like you guys are friends or like in the friend zone or whatever, but in a relationship. But when they talk to other people, they're like, oh yeah, we're dating, or like we date here and there, or like we're dating every now and again. And you're sitting there like, what are you talking about? I thought we were just friends. Because the reality is, the way they feel about you, they don't translate it properly to you. And sometimes they don't even want to tell you because they're afraid that it will give you pressure. And I made a video on that, but that's part of the reason why this might not land properly for you. And the next one is, I feel like nothing is ever enough. When they say this, they truly feel like they're trying to meet your standards, but they just can't. It doesn't mean your standards are too high. It means that they're a little sensitive to pressure. And so have a conversation about where that's coming from. So let's wrap it up. We'll summarize and we'll wrap it up. I do care. Sometimes I feel like you're tense and I wish you'd relax more. I need time for myself and it has nothing to do with you. You're the only person I truly care about. If I didn't care, I wouldn't be here. And I feel like nothing is ever enough. I hope this video is helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.